posted it. Fuck.
Got that sauce in it. Have you ever loved someone so much you thought you'd die, giving so much of yourself? It seems the only way. Tell me what you want and I will give it to you. I will give it cause you call me out of left field. Get some love you never had like this. Fuck with a winner with a bag like this. Get some love you never had like this. You call me out of left field. Get some love you never had like this. Fuck with a winner with a bag like this.
Alright guys, we about to get started. I don't want to wait too long. I'm about to just get right into it. Get into today's podcast. Anyway, so
if we don't have an understanding,
let's get into it. So tonight we're gonna be talking about should she keep her options open? Hey, my man Esteban, what's good though, bro? Esteban, I need you to do me a favor. Probably should text you this, but the link tree, make sure you put it in the bio on the TikTok page. The link tree link is like in everything. Just go on hit the link in the bio. I think it's link tree. Just copy and paste that, put it in your bio. But we're about to get started on this podcast, guys. I'm not waiting too long. I know you guys been complaining about the time that I start my podcast, but listen, I'm gonna fix it all. I'm starting to wake up earlier. The problem is I wake up late. Everything starts late, so But we're back on the podcast. We were gone for a bit, but now we're back consistent. Assalamu alaikum, my brother, motherfucking defund simping. But we're about to get started on this podcast, guys. Let's see what number we're up to. I think this is 134.
All right, podcast number.
Who knows what number it is? Probably not. There's not a lot of people here right now, so I think it's 134.
133.
134. Let's get into it. I'm ready to start. So, tonight's topic, should she keep her options open? Thank you very much. This is a good one, and I think that the guy the video we're going to be reacting to, I swear to God, he's like a pick-me. I think other than Justin LaBoy, however you want to say it, I think this guy might be the biggest pick-me ever. It's just like... And honestly, I wouldn't even consider myself red pill, but I think more or less relationship dynamics. I think the red pill guys are just so one way, and it's like all girls are whores, and I can't agree with that, right? But let's get into it. All right, podcast number 134. Tonight we're going to be talking about should women keep our options open. Now this is going to be an interesting one. If you have a girlfriend. This might be one you want to send her, right? Obviously, this is from a guy's perspective. I will be entirely fair and entirely honest with this one. But yeah, this is going to be a good one. I actually saw this, obviously, on a female's page. I think it's really interesting, even taking into consideration the female's hypergamy and being understanding of that. And then taking other things to account. This is a really interesting one, right? But let's get into it. If you know how the podcast goes, we play a song, and then after the song, we get right into it. So without anything further said, this is Left Field by J.O. and Tory Woods. And right after this, we'll get right into the podcast. So don't go anywhere. Grab your popcorn, your chips, your soda, whatever you drink, and then we'll get right into it.
Cause you got that sauce in it. Have you ever loved someone so much you thought you'd die, giving so much of yourself? It seems the only way. Tell me what you want and I will give it to you. I will give it cause you call me out of left field. Guess some love you never had like this. Fuck with a winner with a bag like this. Guess some love you never had like this. You call me out of left field. Guess some love you never had like this. Fuck with a winner with a bag like this. Guess some love you never had like this. Yeah. Call me out. Look, shorty, she a vibe, she a ting. Fire, something like a vibe, everything. Oh my bad, I'm just stating all the obvious things. We could put the small talk and I can buy you a ring on the ready. Shorty on fire, got me gassed up. To the moon, got me feeling like it's NASA. Yeah, she a boss, on God, got a bag up. X-Men was lame, was surprised he ain't last much. She ain't never had no love like this. But she looking for a love like this. Come and put it on me, give me something I can miss. We can keep between us, everything tight lips. Yeah, we ain't gotta tell nobody. I don't need much, all I need is your body. Say you like it rough, okay, give it to me sloppy. Do it so good, I ain't thinking about no side piece. Have you ever loved someone so much you thought you'd die, giving so much of yourself? It seems the only way. Tell me what you want and I will give it to you. I will give it cause you call me out of left field. Guess some love you never had like this. Fuck with a winner with a bag like this. Guess some love you never had like this. You call me out of left field. Guess some love you never had like this. Fuck with a winner with a bag like this. Guess some love you never had like this. Call me out. Yeah, my bag been right. I done seen you looking at me and that ass real right. Tryna give you something good, I'ma make you feel nice. Tryna take you out the hood to a sea first flight. We be dancing on the beach, get the sand on your feet. Wind through your hair, warm in with the breeze. And we straight to my sheets, champagne and Belize. If you want a little pain, I can give it to you easy. Damn, baby, I could give it to you proper. Forget every other man that wants you. Damn, baby, I could do you how you wanna. Damn, baby, I could. And we ain't gotta tell nobody. I don't need much, all I need is your body. Say you like it rough, okay, give it to me sloppy. Doing it so good, I ain't thinking about no side piece. Have you ever loved someone so much you thought you'd die, giving so much of yourself? It seems the only way. Tell me what you want and I will give it to you. I will give it cause you call me out of left field. Guess some love you never had like this. Fuck with a winner with a bag like this. Guess some love you never had like this. You call me out of left field. Guess some love you never had like this. Fuck with a winner with a bag like this. Guess some love you never had like this. Call me out.
All right, guys, that was J.O. and Tory Woods, and that is Left Field. All right, so getting into today's topic. So we're going to be reacting to a video, and this video is a video of a random guy. I have no idea who this guy is. And basically, he's talking about girls keeping their options open. And I feel like there's a lot of duality to what he's saying. I can only agree with maybe 5 to maybe 4% of what he's saying. But, you know, taking a lot of things into consideration, a female's hypergamy, we have to consider that. It is a thing, and I think it is something innate. It is something super innate, and I don't think that we can avoid it. And I'll give my reasons why in a second after he says what he says, even though it's so cringe to even listen to what he's saying. I also want to say this guy's probably the biggest pick-me ever. And not to bad talk him, but it's just like when I hear men talk like this, you either subscribe to a certain reality. I guess if you're red pill, you would say he's probably blue pilled. Either that or you are saying things purposely to gain the fans, the woman fans, right? And you're not being real 100%. Either that or you have no morals. Like you don't have any type of moral ethic code, right? And moral ethic code, there's levels to it. I feel like you are not doing woman a justice. And this is why society, when it comes to dating, is in shambles. But let's play the clip and then we'll get into it, because there's a lot to unload with this one. Let me just start it all over.
We are exclusive. You are.
Oh, why does it keep doing that?
If you are only dating me and I'm only dating you, it is smart to keep your options open. Ladies, I don't know why the hell y'all decide to close down shops as soon as you get one customer that didn't even buy. You got one customer in your store and you like, hold on, let me turn the close signal down and let me just keep my store closed until he decides if he want to buy something. And if you ask me, that's some dumbass. Date like you got options by keeping your options together and keeping it open. If a man doesn't want you to have options, he'll take it to the next level. He'll make a commitment. Until that man makes a commitment, you single. Act like it. But people get to have their cake and eat it too, because you willingly put your cake in his mouth. And I ain't talking about the nasty cake. I'm talking about you literally let me be monogamous to this man from day 3. It's dumb as to give up your options for a that ain't committed to you yet. If we don't have an understanding that we are...
I'm going to play the clip again because he said a lot. And let's start with number one. First of all, comparing a woman to a store is the worst analogy that you could ever come with. Why? Well, for starters, women are not like stores. A store is something that people come in and out of to buy things, right? So you're going to have a whole bunch of people coming in and out, and you're not selling the store to the first customer. Either way, somebody coming in, they have to buy something, and that decision is up to them. So saying, oh, you're like a store, you take your first customer. No, you're not selling yourself. That implies that you're selling yourself. If you were a prostitute, yeah, that would be great, but that's the worst analogy. Now, if he said, if the first businessman came to your store and was willing to buy it and put in his bid and you take the first bid, then yeah, that's something a little different. Somebody coming in, that's the worst analogy. It is the worst analogy. And for starters, when someone says you keep your options open, and that's okay. That's perfectly fine, right? But it goes to the whole idea where it's like, and I've had this debate with girls that I've talked to, and it's like, well, I'm not doing this, that, and the third until you give me what I want, right? And what do women normally want? They want exclusivity. And usually, that's a whole other time. I'll get into that in a second. But usually, that's something they want. And giving exclusivity is something that usually a man is in charge of, which is even why he's talking what he's talking, because that's usually a man decision. A guy makes that decision whether he wants to commit to you or not, right? It's usually something that a man has the power to. But usually, if you want a position, and usually this is how it goes in life, if you want to fulfill any position, if you want to be Olympic gold, right? There are things and requirements you have to meet before you get that Olympic gold. If you want just about any job, there are things and requirements you have to meet before you get that job, right? If you want to be a world champion, there's a certain amount of hours of work. There are a certain amount of hours you have to put in. There are certain skills you must learn, right? Also, what a job. You don't come into a job and say, hey, I want this title, and I'm not doing any of it until you give it to me, right? Now, different jobs may have different job descriptions. And one of those job descriptions for a title that you want, you cannot have other jobs because it may be a conflict of interest. We discuss and do too much over here where if you had another job, we're not going to hire you. So if you took another job on the side, or if you currently are, while in training before you even get the job, have another job, it's a wrap. You can't have this position. Now, for you to say that, oh, I'm going to keep my options open, with some men, that shit don't fly. Now, I'm not saying that it's not okay for a woman to keep her options open. I think that goes both ways. You should keep your options open. It's okay to keep your options open. But there's a lot of implications when you tell a woman to keep her options open. We know how society is, right? But the point is, there's a lot of problems that come with that. There's a lot of problems that come with that. And it goes against basic logic. I was watching a video where Google had fired a woman, and she was outside complaining how because she refused to do certain things because people were coming into the job. And yeah, it might have been racism, whatever it was. It might have been things where she wasn't being treated fair. But she was complaining to the job, and she said, oh, how does this person get a promotion for me? How does this person get a position before me? And I've been here longer and I do more work, and you guys want me to do more work for another position? I refuse. So what they do, they fired her. They fired her. Now, because she wanted another position. Now, if you want a position in life, if you want this position, why do women feel, and why do, I guess, pick-me's like this guy, why do they feel as if, oh, until I get what I want, I'm not going to do this? So if a guy has a certain requirements too, and you have certain requirements, it becomes a conflict of interest. And if you refuse to do it, you're basically just saying my ideals are more important than yours. I'm not doing this because, oh, my ideals are more important. Well, what if the guy says, okay, cool, you want exclusivity? That's fine. We can do exclusivity. Now, this can be a bit of a game, but if he's genuine about it, this is something real. What if he says, well, we can do exclusivity. I don't mind that. But hey, before we get there, there are a few things that I don't like. I don't like the fact that maybe you do this, you do that, and you do that in the third. I don't like the fact that maybe you wear little ass skirts and your booty cheeks is hanging out. Yeah, it's sexy. I wouldn't mind it around the house, but I don't want everybody looking at you like that. Does it? And usually when men say something like that, oh, it's giving me insecure. It's giving, no, how about you just fucking listen to your man? So the problem is a man can't really say anything without it being, okay, I concur. This is something that we can work on. I don't need to wear tiny little skirts. I don't need to wear Daisy Dukes. I don't need to do all these things. But instead of saying that, okay, well, I'll give into it. No, it's giving insecure. Why do I need this? Why do you need? But that ultimately, that's an indicator of you believing that your feelings, your emotions, and how you feel is more important than his. And it's basically saying my feelings and my emotions are so superior to yours that I'm not going to listen to you, I'm not going to give in, and I'm not going to concur with anything that you're saying. And that's where the problem comes in, where it's like, all right, well, instead of saying, okay, well, before I give you exclusivity, I'm going to do this, that, and the third. Now, what if you want exclusivity, but he says, how about you stop talking to other guys? How about you stop talking to other guys? Because we've been talking for how long now, but you said you want to keep your options open just because you don't want to give up certain things you want. All right, well, how about you give up some of the things that I want first? What if you're not showing me that you can be single? Okay, cool, I get it. That's a good argument to have. Oh, you don't give me exclusivity. I don't want to give you exclusivity. Okay, cool. And I tell guys, you shouldn't be forcing a woman to do that yet before she's your boyfriend, before she's your girlfriend anyway. But the biggest problem is this is how we filter out. This is how we filter out women. The high quality woman versus the low quality woman. And I truly, truly believe, and this is something I believe wholeheartedly, the women that are high quality and the women that are low quality are usually night and day. And I truly, truly, truly wholeheartedly believe that a woman that is high quality, but even before that, how do you judge between somebody who's better than the other, right? What are the criteria, rather? Well, the only criteria that I can refer to is righteousness. If you look at religion, now I understand not everybody's religious, some people are spiritual, but if you look at morals, right? I think most people would agree morally going around just doing it with anybody, just doing as you please, that's not really somebody who's an indicator of, who would want to be a good wife, right? Or a good girl. That society will tell you, because society will condemn you for it. But even if you look at religion, somebody who's going around just doing this and doing that, right? If you look at religion, they say, well, how does God judge between people? Your deeds, your righteousness, your level of righteousness. So, if you have a woman going around just sleeping around doing this and that and the third, you're probably not going to get wifed. At least by any man who knows what the hell he wants, right? But my thing is, I truly believe that a woman that is high quality, they can't and they will not go around talking to multiple of men. And what this guy is saying here, he's saying that oh, you shouldn't keep your options open. You should talk to multiple guys and until he commits. Well, what are the indicators of that? If you're talking to multiple men at once, most men are gonna assume, and even some females, that maybe you're sleeping around with some of these guys, that maybe you're messing with some of these guys, right? Or maybe that like you're probably hooking up with some of these guys, at least giving a kiss or something, right? Because then if you're not hooking up and you're not doing anything with these guys, it's like, well, okay, you're using them. Everybody's always going to assume something. Not that saying that, that's necessarily the case, but most people are going to think that. Most people are going to think that. And yeah, it's hard for you to say, like, to tell a woman that they can't do that, because society and the whole sexual liberation, and you can say even a century ago, millennia ago, 50, 60, 70 years ago, women didn't have the type of liberation that they have now. But that may not necessarily be a good thing, right? Because it becomes like a setup for a trap for you. It becomes a setup for a trap for you. You know why? Because you got to think about it like this. This is the trap of society. Society says, hold off on marriage. Society says, you don't need to get married yet. Wait till you are later in life. You're young, have fun, do as you will, right? And these are facets of like Satanism, by the way. I was watching some shit on TikTok. It was like a documentary. But anyway, do as you will, have fun, do as you please. And you wait till you're older to get married and settle down. So there's that. And then you also talk about, don't commit until he commits to you. Keep your options open. And I truly believe innately, women don't want to just go around, some do, but women don't want to go around just hooking up with random guys. But the trap is, so you have this mindset now, and it becomes normalized. So now you're keeping your options open. And because this one guy doesn't commit to you and you're keeping your options open, he might go, another guy might go, and now you have this mindset thinking, I don't have to get married until I'm older. Until I'm older anyway. So now you let all your 20s go by. Your 30s hit. Okay, 30 is the new 20, whatever you want to call it. I'll be fair. And now, even if you take that into consideration, a lot of women have ran through a whole bunch of men. And I swear it never fails. Women that are in their 30s or close to their 30s or actually mid-deep in their 30s, they want to commit now. And now they're willing to settle. They're willing to settle a little more than they were in their 20s because they felt as if they had a lot of options. But because you kept your options so open and you didn't feel as if, I can commit while having a relationship. I can commit while being married. I don't want to prove myself to this person that I'm worthy of being a wife. I don't want to stick everything out. I want to have it my way, and my ideals are more important than his. So I'm going to keep my options open. Now you get to a place where you're older, and then you start to think about maybe that biological clock. You start to think that, damn, I don't look as good as I did when I was 21 or 22 or even 24 or 25. And then you look at America, most people are obese. Most people don't work out. Most people don't stay fit. So now, you're falling into a smaller pool. And then we know a lot of women, women are hypergamous, so they want a man that's, if he's not falling to the 1%, if he's not rich, then a lot of women want a man that's going to pay for this and pay for that, or at least match them, right? So now your standards become certain high, but your looks don't necessarily match. And what you'll find is a lot of women standards are so high and they say, well, I'd rather be alone. And then even sometimes when they find the guys that are older and they try to reach back, and I've heard this too. I try to reach back to a guy. I finally gave him a chance and he had the nerve to play me. Because he's getting a little money now. Yes, he's getting a little money now. Now he has more options that he never had before. Now he wants you when you were younger, but he can't have you because you don't look the same. So what is he going to do? He's going to go for a girl that maybe looks like you when he could have had you when he was younger. Granted, if you would have let him have you when you were younger, instead of playing games and being all hypergamous and, playing on that to the fullest, maybe you'll have a committed husband. Maybe you'll have a relationship. But no, you wanted to play your options. Now, to be fair, you'll say like, oh, men do it and it's okay for men and it's not okay for women. Like I said, there are certain implications when you say you have a lot of options. And I could easily say, well, that's not what God intended. God doesn't want you to do that. Or I could say that, right? And yeah, I guess it's okay for you to have options as a woman too, and there's nothing wrong with that. But the problem comes into play, and this is very serious, and this applies to men too, because I can talk about it myself, and I can see myself being a victim of it, is when you're giving your options, right? There's no clarification on how he's saying it. There's no clarifications on what exactly do you mean by keeping your options open. So does keeping your options open mean that you're going to go on tons of dates? Does keeping your options open mean that, oh, because I think you're talking to someone, because I think that you have another girl, I'm going to have another person too? Because you have a lot of options, does that mean that, oh, you're having sex with another person, so I'm going to have sex with another person too? Does that mean I'm just going to go on dates? I'm going to use guys until I figure out you want to commit. So until you actually want to commit, I'm going to use guys and I'm going to go on dates and explore my options and see what's better out there? Because either way, it's like, it looks like either you're messing around or you're using guys until the guy you really want to give you what you want, or you're out there just, thotting around, or you're just like, being super hypergamous. Either way, it's not a good indicator. It's really not. It's not a good indicator either way whatsoever. So it's like when you say, oh, until he commits, what exactly does that mean? But the big problem in everything that I just assumed is you're giving your energy away. You're giving your energy out. Either way you look at it, even if you're just texting people, the biggest problem is you're giving your energy out. And it will take a toll on you. Especially if you're out there just hooking up with mad random guys, it's gonna take a toll on you. Especially when you've been conditioned and you've been indoctrinated to believe that women having sex with multiple men is okay. I don't think it's okay. And I did a whole podcast on it when I talked about the implications of women messing with multiple men. That's the scientific data. It's not something they can come back from. Whereas where they did it for men, it's something that can come back from. They said that when women did that shit, they couldn't come back from it. It was like a habit that they couldn't fix. Whereas for men, like saying when you have multiple partners, usually it's harder for you to commit to one person. But what the study had said was, it said that when men do it, they could retrain their brain to be coming back with one person. But it's something that they had to practice and stay consistent with, right? Whereas for women, they could do it, but they had to literally will themselves. You had to have a next level type of will. Meaning that men and women are not the same. Not saying that men are better, they're not the same. Now, if you have a problem with that study, maybe conduct a new one yourself. I'm pretty sure you'll come to the same results, but that's something you need to take up with the creator. Not me, not the people who did the study, or do a whole nother one yourself. But my thing is, you're giving away your energy, and I can say that applies to men too. But I know I can get into the habit, because I've been in a long relationship, and before your relationship where I didn't cheat, stayed loyal, and I've been in a 4-year relationship where I did cheat and wasn't so loyal. But those are two different people. But that all comes down to mindset. So, but my biggest thing is energy. Like at some point, I just got so tired of going so many dates. And I swear, like, girls nowadays are all the same. It's like, oh, zodiac sign this, zodiac sign that. I'm into girls sometimes. Oh, you got to give me this. I need a man who's going to pay. You need to give me all your attention. My ideals are more important than yours. And if you stand out a little bit, oh, wow, you don't drink, you don't smoke. What's your zodiac sign? I don't know. I don't follow zodiac signs. Is that all you're concerned with? And it's like, oh, I want 100% commitment without anything. Whether you're honest or not. Because you could lie to a woman, you could be honest. Either way, they're still gonna have a problem with it. They might appreciate it a little more when you're honest, if we're being transparent. but you still run into a lot of problems. And I think one of the biggest things to get into is your energy. You're giving away your energy, you know. I want to play this clip one more time because it was one more thing that he said.
If we don't have an understanding that we are exclusive, you are only dating me and I'm only dating you, it is smart to keep your options open. Ladies, I don't know why the hell y'all decide to close down shops as soon as you get one customer that didn't even buy. You got one customer in your store and you like, hold on, let me turn the close signal down and let me just keep my store closed until he decides if he want to buy something. And if you ask me, that's some dumbass. Date like you got options by keeping your options together and keeping it open. If a man doesn't want you to have options, he'll take it to the next level. He'll make a commitment.
And this is my biggest takeaway. He wants women to wait for options, right? You wait for your options and until he commits. And some women are ready to commit on day 4. Because one, I feel like it's innate. It's natural for women. But the biggest problem is women don't want that man that's ready to commit right away. Let's be real. I speak to guys on a daily. I have guys book private consultations just about every day, if not every other day. And then I have guys coaching who I speak to every day. The men that are ready to commit early, they don't want them. They don't want them. They fall in, that's a trap. They don't want those men. And we know, and it's been studies on this. In the University of in the Journal of Psychology, there's been studies put out. Men that are less available are the men that women want the most. They don't want those men either way. So now you're telling them, instead of waiting on the man you want or striving for the man you want, oh, okay, so just go talk to other men and put your energy elsewhere. Because whatever you focus on, whatever you put energy towards grows. But instead of focusing on one thing at a time, you're saying, oh, go do this. But they don't want those men. They don't. And this is the trap of it, right? The good guys who are ready to commit fast usually don't have game, are lame in some type of way, or just lack something that they really want. They're not going to commit to those guys anyway. And it's a trap. It's like this duality thing was like, yeah, I want a guy to commit and do all those things, but the guys are ready to do that fast. You don't want him. And I know it because I see it all the time. They don't want those guys. And what I see in those guys, they don't have game. They don't know how to polarize. They let the girl walk all over them. They just pander to them. They let them have their way. They let them do whatever they want. So you run into the trap. It was like, oh, this guy's not giving me what I want. I have tons of options. I'm not going to wait for him anyway. But then the guy who does give you what you want, you don't really want him. He's not drama. He's no drama. He's easygoing. He's actually a good person willing to commit and love you and give you everything you want fast. And we know anything that's given easy, it's not worth it. Anything you work for is definitely worth having. You have a woman that are a lot willing less to walk away when they know they can have it. When they know they can't have it. This is literally studies that have been conducted. So you say, okay, well, he's not willing to commit so fast. Leave him. And then you understand, and this is why I tell guys, you never ask a girl to be your girlfriend first. You get to know them. You know, psychology says people are on their best behavior for the first few months anyway. So you don't even fucking know the person. Right? You know how many times I hear like, yo, KB, guys booking private consultation, everything was good at first, but then, bro, she just started acting crazy. I don't even know who she is. This and that, the third. Everything was, now she's disrespectful. Da, 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 da. Besides them knowing how to filter out women and not having a relationship course yet that is coming out, you didn't take the time to get to know this person. And the same thing goes for women. You want a relationship right away. You want him to commit right away. A few months down the line, what if he start acting crazy? What if he get belligerent? Every time you speak to him, he want to pop you upside your head. Now you with an abusive man, and you don't. This is like, I guess it's not obvious, but it's basics. Like you jump into a relationship with someone without knowing them, and now you cause yourself. You tricked yourself into thinking, or maybe you actually do love this person. So now you want it to work, and you don't want to walk away. But now you're stuck, and you feel stuck because he whipping on you, right? But you love him so much. And then you're blinded by all the things, maybe the SCX you're blinded by, maybe all the gifts and stuff he buys you, he neglects you, does all this stuff, but you're also in love with him. Now you find yourself in a crazy stuck situation. Or maybe you found out he's cheating, but you love him so much you want to forgive him and you don't want to walk away from it because you want a commitment right away. You don't want to take the time to get to know him. Right? So I guess you can say committing right away is not necessarily a good thing always for a guy or for a woman. But the fact that you feel as if you need to talk to other guys and give your energy and spread your energy all over the place, that is going to take a toll on you. Especially if you're having sex with all these multiple men. Especially if it's unprotected. You got to understand, you know, sex is something very spiritual. And when you're putting your DNA in somebody, when you putting yourself in somebody, you take on these personalities. And I said, I swear it's true. You ever been with your girl and you with your girl and she starts to pick up your lingo? She starts to talk like you. She starts to pick up some of your habits, say your little phrases, because you are in her. Your DNA is in her. She's picking up on who you are. It's starting to take a toll on her. And then even more, you can't be around somebody consistently and expect for them not to wear off. That's like saying I'm going to hang out with a blacksmith and expect not to get dirty. That's like saying I'm going to hang out with somebody who works out all the time and expect, especially if you're living with them, and expect for it not to rub off on me at all. It is unrealistic when you're spreading your energy out like that. And this is why you see women acting all crazy. They act one way 1 second, they act this way 1 second, because you all over the place. Something ain't right internally. A lot of people don't like what I'm saying. A lot of people won't like. But it's the fucking truth. And I think innately, you know, I don't really go out of my way to watch Andrew Tate, but he does come up on my timeline for obvious reasons. You know, this is the shit I talk about. He's saying similar things. But he has this idea that innately nobody likes a girl who sleeps around with a whole bunch of men. And he gives examples of past societies. He gives example of even now today religious societies where the results for cheating is being stoned to death. I mean, one thing he didn't tell you is that also goes for men too. And these are things that are in the Bible. These are things that are in the Quran, right? All the Abrahamic religions do believe in this. And yes, of course, it goes for both races too. Both genders, not races. Both genders. And I think innately, yeah, it's not something that's it's not something that's that's liked by society. And even today in our society, if a woman goes around, you know, sleeping with multiple men, she's shamed. She's looked at as bad. She's not looked at as wholesome. Society will still shame her, even though they have like things like, oh, your body and this and that and the third. And it's still something that's innately frowned upon. It's still something that innately that most men won't like or accept. Right? And then even still, like, it's just the implications of telling a woman that you can do whatever and keeping your options open. It's almost like a pick-me, because there's no way that benefits you as a man. And I'm not saying men shouldn't commit. If you're gonna commit, you commit. If you're gonna get married, hey, if you want to go that far, don't have sex outside of marriage. Period. Let's get married. Do it the right way. Believe in God. Make an honest woman out of her. You know, there are people who, you know, have clients who just have arranged marriage. They end up loving them. But if you live in America or a free world, you're still gonna have to have relationship dynamics, because if you're not abiding by a certain set of rules, which are religious, you're abiding by something else. And that's what society tells you. And only women who live in free societies subscribe to this bullshit. Right? But I'm balanced in my approach. I'm not saying all women are whores. I'm not saying you shouldn't have some type of options. But you ever go to a restaurant and you have tons of options? What happens when you have too many options? It's usually harder to make a decision. When you only have 2 or 3, 4 options, it's very easy. It's very easy to make a choice. There have been studies done on this, right? It's very apparent. You have tons of options. It's very hard for you to make a decision, and you fall into a trap. If they do it with food, why can't you do it with men? Especially when women have tons of options nowadays. And it's crazy because there are more women than men, which goes to show you, if you do the math, they only are looking at a certain type of man anyway. Like, what the fuck? Anyway, I hope I made some sense. And I would like to preface this by saying, I'm not saying that, it's okay for men to do it, and it's not okay for women. If you're a God-fearing person and you practice any of the Abrahamic religions, well, your religion says that this is acceptable. Your religious book, down to the Bible, Quran, having multiple wives, but if you're doing it the right way. But if you're not doing it the right way, you don't have any rules, you don't have any structure, then what set of rules are you abiding by? What set of rules are you going by? If you don't have any structure, anything goes. And that's society today. Society is all fucking backwards. Crazy. But anyway, that's that. We're going to end this podcast off with Left Field by J.O. and Tory Woods.
Ransom got that sauce in it. Have you ever loved someone